name is Arif, and I will share with you our insights regarding the challenges and prospects in Islamic capital market. Firstly, I would like to share with you Islamic capital market, similarly to conventional capital markets, has two main products. One is shares and one is sukuk. Both these are Sharia compliant, whereby Muslims can buy without further hesitation in their wealth generation. Secondly, the Islamic capital market has great growth potential. In 2014, it has 1.5 trillion in the year in market capitalization. It is projected by the year 2020 will increase to 3 trillion. As for sukuk, in 2014 alone, sukuk in Malaysia amounts to 66% of the total global sukuk, which amounted to 77.9 billion. Islamic capital market, which consists of shares and sukuk, when issued to the public, it is regulated by the Sharia Advisory Council of the Securities Commission. Here, there are various scholars in their various fields, but ultimately they will refer to the Islamic source of law, which is the Quran, Sunnah, Ijma, and Qiyas. Their role is to advise and to help the SC in formulating regulation regarding the Islamic capital market. Okay. Challenges in Islamic capital market involves they will always be compared with other conventional products in terms of their returns, in terms of their gains. But then, of course, that separates them together is their Sharia compliance. Furthermore, nowadays in the media it's been highlighted that Sharia compliant products also is too profit driven instead of being serving the needs of the Ummah. Maybe because of competition, the financial institution make it more towards conventional products in competing with their other conventional products. Thirdly, there's no harmonization of Sharia law globally, which led to conflicting views of the permissibility of products. Maybe one product through the Sharia Advisory Council is permissible in Malaysia, however, in other Muslim countries, it may not be permissible. So there's no harmonization between two countries. Ultimately, people in Malaysia has no. We can rest assured that all products in Malaysia is Sharia all products which is approved by the SAC, Sharia Advisory Council, is Sharia compliant. Okay. On the higher prospects of Islamic capital market, Bank Negara Malaysia is advising all the practitioners and all the scholars to rethink regarding the Islamic capital market, which they have to go to renewed focus on the fundamental of Sharia, rethink the risk, and rethinking the human capital. With that, I conclude my knowledge sharing session. Thank you.
Another big challenge is that the government of Malaysia, specifically Bank Negara and Ministry of Finance, have to come up with a better policy to further encourage the use of Islamic banking in every sectors, and also other races in Malaysia, as dominant users now are the Malays. The policy should stress on Islamic finance in sectors such as manufacturing, trade, and others. The other question is that how can we safeguard the basic elements in Islamic finance offered by the banks in Malaysia, as there are serious questions being raised now whether they are no different from the conventional packages.
Hello and Assalamualaikum everyone. So my name is Muhammad Hazimi Hamzah. I would like to present for the Exploring Islamic Capital Market about the challenge that facing by Islamic capital market in Malaysia. So we go for one of the challenge basically is about product level challenge. It's talking about the product itself that being confused among the public and also among the stock stakeholders, shareholders, as well as board of directors of the company. So we go for the brief introduction for the Islamic capital market. Basically, they had positioned themselves as one of the good option in the market and also one of the financial product, and they had introduced a lot of product, for instance like equity based, debt securities, and so on. And this stock basically had underwent a very thorough screening from the local authorities. such as Sharia Advisory Council, and by doing and determined by this board, basically they had justified either this stock had considered Sharia compliance or not. So what are the really challenges of product level? Basically the forms over the substance and also the papers over the subject. What I can tell you right now, basically documentation, everything is perfect in terms of legal, in terms of documentation, in terms of all the document that query from the authorities. But then the perspective of the public itself, that profit offered by the Islamic stock is quite mimicking, and also had some similarities in terms of numbers with the conventional one. Like I make one of the example that been issued from the issuer SPR Energy Malaysia Sdn Berhad. They had issued Ijarah Sukuk with the Sukuk trustee at the time, acting on behalf of the Sukuk holders. So they had been issued by the directors of the company had a query on the why the rental interest is similarity high, equivalent to the interest so-called Islamic, but then the numbers is much more similar. So this question been raised by the shareholders, board of directors, as well as the stakeholders. And you try to imagine if the internal also had a confusing in terms of the understanding the product level, how about the public? And I can share to you that in Sharia Islamic, there had been no profit offered. They offered in the similarity of the risk and also proportionate of the profit. And this means both contracting parties supposed to bear similar profit and also similarity in terms of risk. And one of the scholars said by Karu Valley 2000, the way how we question the public queries, basically we determine the direction of the Islamic capital. So by doing that, basically by justify the confusion and also the perception of the public towards the Islamic capital market, will determine the direction where Islamic capital will go. And by saying that, basically I'm finished my presentation. Thank you very much for listening.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very pleasant evening to Mr. Roslan. My name is Fazmal Huzairi bin Jamaluddin, Fazmal Huzairi bin Jamaluddin, ZE03676. Today I'm to present to you about the challenges and prospect about Islamic capital market in nowadays context in Malaysia. Basically, the challenges is in terms of the lack of public awareness on Islamic capital market. You can see how the size of the Malaysian, the population of Malaysia around something million, but the Malaysian has the lack of public awareness and perception good Islamic financial product and service, especially in Sukuk product. And also in Bursa Malaysia in 2009, it states that it's the lack of awareness of potential investor from outside to invest in Malaysia because there are lack of awareness to the Islamic capital product itself. So according to PwC 2014, it also how the show the low penetration of the Islamic banking in the Gulf country, like Saudi Arabia, Oman, and other Gulf countries. So the government and private sector needs to play the role to increase the internal Islamic capital market product. So this because of the lack of public, and also the private sector and government sector must work each other to make sure the Islamic capital market is being aware to the public. So how they want to go is how they want to, the method is, the one is propagation and seminar on Islamic capital market, especially Sukuk. How the public sector and private sector must have the event like exhibition and others to make sure they are aware about the Islamic capital market, especially in Sukuk product. So another thing is they also can publish books or booklet about Islamic capital product and put it in the bank counter. This can be seen when the CIMB or the Maybank itself have their own public public product in terms of Islamic capital market, such as the takaful product, life insurance, or how the life insurance is the Islamic. So you can see many people in CIMB or in the Maybank have the Malay, especially in Malay, have their religion Islam, so they attract to this kind of product. So this the government and public sector must take part and take the role how to cater the public aware about this Islamic capital product. Other than that, how to cater the public awareness is get about how the public the government is improve their government and government rule of law, such as the Sharia framework and others. So the public awareness will get the trust from the public or for the citizen of Malaysia. So because the Islamic and Sharia compliant, so they can get their trust from them. So the second thing I want to tell you about the prospect of the Islamic capital market in Malaysia. The first is liquidity management transaction. How the liquidity is play important role to get the very easy, fast cash. So how use the sukuk as the Islamic capital product for the fund. Second is the prospect of large funding for infrastructure development. How we can see it in the Malaysian context, how the developing country, so how many infrastructure, how the building is very going fast. So the Islamic capital market must take advantage through this sukuk. So sukuk can raise the fund for building the infrastructure in the development of the country. Such as you can issue the sukuk for the building or for the finance the energy under compliance company. So human capital development is another prospect of the Islamic capital market. You can see how in Malaysia in 2020 they will the government will increase the professional in the Islamic capital market itself through the training and so on. So this all challenges the prospect of the Islamic capital market will increase the user of the Islamic capital market product. Either is service or the product itself. That's all from me for the prospect and challenges. And
my name is Mawizat. Okay, so today I'm going to talking about the challenge and prospect of the Islamic capital market in Malaysia. One of the point I would like to emphasize, which is the permissibility in derived use, understanding, market mechanism, and product regulations. So which means that not all the jurisdiction may approve or accept in terms of Sharia contract use, because they have involved different contracts and difference of the regulation we have to follow. Okay, some of the restriction or constraints to apply for community Sharia such as murabaha or tawaruk, they have the different point of views, because every single of the terms they have their own system to maintain the efficiencies. Okay, we also have to understand or knowledge about the market mechanism and product regulations, because when we are going to publish one of the Islamic products, we have to understand what the regulation or restraints that we have to face and overcome from the consequence. Okay, so there is the need of the hedge. One of the case study also have stated there is the need for hedging and risk mitigation within the Islamic financial institutions to maintain the efficiency through the regulations. I think that's all for me.